Hey butterflies, it's your girl Farrah Voltaire, and I'm back with another episode. If this is your first time seeing this episode, hi, hello, welcome to the Butterfly Diaries podcast. I'm your host Farrah. All right, so to get all the fun stuff out the way, go ahead and like, comment, share, and subscribe to this YouTube channel if you haven't already. And if you're listening to me on a podcast platform, please go ahead and like, rate, and download this episode. All right, so let's get right into it, butterflies. Today's episode is Dear Diary. We're healing. Of course, the last episode I was talking about seasons. I was talking about what you can do in each season, how to navigate through your seasons, and little tips and tricks you can use to get through each season of your life, especially the hard ones. But even though we're talking about seasons and even though this is love month, first things first, butterflies, is that love on the inside. And that starts with healing. And I did a whole teaching on healing before, so if you want to go to that episode, you can. I'll put the link to that episode in the description box below. It's two parts. It's called Dear Diary, Let's Heal, and it's Let's Heal Part 1 and Part 2. And I really break it down for you in that episode, where even down to the biblical level, I even have a couple different definitions regarding healing, and also broke down how we call Jesus Jehovah Rapha, our healer, but it actually also means in Hebrew our cure, that Jesus is the cure to our hurt places. He's the cure to where we are struggling. So go back and listen to those episodes so that way you can receive the full teaching on healing. It's really, really detailed, and I really, really encourage you to go back and listen to that episode. And I'll put both of those links in the description box below, okay? But I really want to talk about what it looks like to be first generation healed. So I'm gonna break down what that is and explain how that relates to me and how it can relate to you if you are in the same place as me. And even if you aren't in the same place as me, basically how it relates to you in your personal life going forward for what you want. But first generation healed is basically being the first in your generation to fully heal, right? To do the work, the hard work of looking back at what caused trauma, what was the reason why you acted a certain way, thinking back and learning through your processes of self, and really looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, these are the reasons why I'm struggling so bad. These are the reasons why I'm dealing with what I'm dealing with daily, and really trusting God in those seasons to help you get through and become fully healed, so that the next generation after you can walk a little bit easier, can talk a little bit easier, can raise your children differently, vice versa, all that good stuff, right? So being first generation healed looks so different now for me because I'm more aware of what I'm actually doing and doing everything with intention. I've always been one to want to be intentional about every step that I take, so that way my children won't have to do or go through what I went through, right? So I'm always thinking about my future kids that aren't here yet, and always thinking about my future spouse that isn't here yet, and thinking about how I can create and cultivate a structure and a system for them, so that way, or a space for them so that they can thrive to be, better for themselves. But first I had to start to cultivate and create a space for myself, and as I'm doing that, because I'm still in that process, I'm learning how to love myself more and be more commendable with the steps that I'm taking. So I'm going to give you guys 3 tips on how to first identify if you're first generation healed, 2, how to walk through being first generation healed, and the third thing is definitely being patient with yourself in the season. I talk about patience a lot because throughout this entire season, throughout all of the things that you are going through in your life, the first thing you want to be is patient. So number 1, be patient with yourself. Being healed is most definitely the hardest. Being fully healed is most definitely the hardest thing you can do. If you guys hear any growling or barking or anything, Princess is literally right under me right now, and I think she has a treat, so I don't know. But first thing, be patient with yourself. Walk with patience, walk with patience with yourself and alongside Christ, and remember that everything takes time. You want to be able to say, okay, this is a long journey. Lord, but you're walking alongside me with it. Don't beat yourself up for things not moving the way you don't want them to move. Don't beat yourself up because you were triggered again. Don't beat yourself up because you felt like, oh, I should have been past this by now. I should have been over this. One thing about trauma that I hate people saying is that, oh, you should have been over that. Baby, it happened to me. It was trauma that happened to me. No one can tell me how long it's going to take me to get over something because it's my process. So don't let anyone rush you in your process. This is where patience comes in. Don't let anybody rush you in your process. Don't let nobody rush you in your process of healing because it is your journey. That trauma happened to you. If it happened to you at 5 and it still hurts at 15, it happened to you. It didn't happen to a 5-year-old little girl. It happened to you. That 5-year-old little girl is you. You just grew up. But that doesn't mean the pain went away. That doesn't mean the scars healed. That just means that you grew up. So don't let anyone tell you to rush your healing or to hurry up and get healed. Don't let no one put a timestamp on when you deserve to be healed because it's not their story, it is yours. So allow the Lord to dictate how long it's going to take you to get healed. My pastor gave me a great analogy, and I did a sermon at my church about this. But when you break an arm or a femur or a finger, there's a certain time frame that you have to get healed. And during that time frame, let's say it could be 2 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, a month, right? 2 months. There's always a time frame for you to be completely healed. So how long is it going to take you to become healed? That's dictative on your relationship with Christ and how long you take to really just surrender it to the Lord and leave it there, right? But we don't want to carry something for way too long. Once you identify that this trauma is here, this is the reason why I get frustrated at this one thing. This is the reason why I get triggered at this one thing. Now it's time, after you identify it, identify where the trigger came from, identify the pain, identify the problem. And once you identify that, then you're able to go ahead and go to step 2, and that is process the entire thing. I don't know how your process is going to look. Your process can look like laying in bed. Your process can look like taking a walk. Your process can look like journaling. Your process can look like praying. Your process can look like screaming into your pillow. Your process can look like crying in the shower. Your process can look like laying it all down at the feet of Christ, which is what it should look like. Whatever your process is, process. And number 3, release. Release it to God. And when I say release, I mean let go of that thing. Do not have a tether, don't have a string, and don't have a tie to it anymore. It is done. It is over with. We are healing. We are walking in healing. We are walking in understanding of self in 2024. So that way we are not triggered. That way we are walking more in peace and not looking like who hurt us. We're not looking like the pain that was caused to us. We are looking more like Christ. So our triggers, our moments of sadness, our moments of sorrow, those are all there as dictations to help us see ourselves better. Either you're going to run from it or you're going to learn from it. And butterflies, I implore that you learn from it, that you identify the trauma, the trigger, and the problem. You go through the process, you process it with the Lord, you walk alongside Him, you trust Him through that pain, you trust Him through understanding that pain, working through it with Him. If you need a therapist, I implore you get one. If you need a coach to help you through, we are connected to Forrest Laurent. He has wonderful coaching skills, and he's a great listener, and he has wonderful feedback. He's a great counselor. If you need his information, please DM me and I will give you his information. He has a coaching call, and you can sign up with him. Sometimes he has wonderful sales. He just had a 50% off sale, like this past weekend. For 2 days, he was doing a 50% off sale. So he always has these wonderful 50% off, 75% off sales regarding his guidance calls, his coach guidance calls, and they are amazing. They are phenomenal. So if you need someone to help you navigate through your thoughts and your feelings other than yourself, Forrest is a great person to reach out to. And if you need a therapist, I implore you, go ahead and find one. Find someone that you can relate to, that can hear you, somebody outside of your circle, somebody who doesn't really know you, that can help you navigate through your thoughts, your feelings, and your emotions to get you through that process. And lastly, remember, release it onto the Lord. Release all of the problems, every burden, every heaviness, every confusion, everything that you're dealing with on the inside. Release it to Christ. Give it back to God and then leave it there. Don't go back checking on that thing. Don't go back looking for it, and do not go back trying to figure it out because you left it with the Lord. He has it in his best interest to heal you. He wants to see you healed. He wants you to be happy. So why not just lay it at his feet? Why not just give it your all? Why not just trust him with all of you? Release that thing. Don't hold on to it no more. It has no more purpose. I recently wrote a status that said, "Beloved, I know they hurt you, but release it, because you don't want to look like them, and you don't want to not look like you." So butterflies, do what you got to do to keep going and flying high. All right, butterflies, so we are at the end of the episode. So please go ahead and like, comment, share, and subscribe to this episode. And if you haven't already, like, rate, and download to the podcast episode. All right, butterflies, thank you so much. And I will see you guys next week. Have a wonderful rest of your week. And thank you for tuning in. But what do we do before we leave, butterflies? Always fly high. Well, Princess definitely wanted to say it. Always fly high. See you next time.